I consider this university at the peak, motivation for me to work more and more. A in education is very, very important today. See, any technology that we see, there's a good and bad. Yeah. And it's very important to take all the good and eliminate all the bad.
Welcome to the Akashwani podcast. Our guest today is Dr. V. Kamakoti, Director, Indian Institute of Technology, Madras. Mr. Kamakoti, welcome to the Akashwani podcast.
Thank you, Meghna ji.
Dr. Kamakoti, you head India's top-ranked engineering institution, IIT Madras. You have also been an alumnus of the school. Tell us about your academic journey. Were you always academically inclined? Because I read somewhere that before engineering, first, cricket and then violin were an important part of your life.
So if you ask me if I was a nerd, I was not. My academic journey started. I joined a school called Vidya Bharati, a very cool school. I was very much deeply into cricket. I was an opening batsman and also a spin bowler. That was secondary, but batting was main for me. But I was only child. And one day, one bouncer hit my specs and then broke, and my father got really worried. He thought cricket is going to be very dangerous for me. And he actually took this bat and threw it into the well. And he said, "You do anything in life, not this one." Then I revolted as much as possible, but nothing worked. Then I took violin. I had a nice teacher, Janakam Chari. I want to mention her name here. Then I started learning violin. And that journey continued for 18 years after that. And I did learn quite a number of songs too. I find that the time to practice is becoming very rare now. Then at +1 and +2, I joined another school, PS Senior Secondary School. That was a turning point. A very strict principal, Alamelu, who really took care of me. She used to scold me like anything. But then now I feel whatever she has done. On the day when I got the Padma Shri, I really thought of Madam Alamelu because those scoldings has actually shaped my career. And she brought me back into academics in a good way. After +2, I didn't like chemistry, so I flunked in chemistry JE advanced those days JE. So I couldn't get into it. Then I joined C. Venkateswara College of Engineering. It's under Madras University. And I did my B in computer science 4 years. Then with full vigor and so upset I didn't get IIT Madras. I loved that institute from that day itself. So I wrote the GATE examination. Got very good score. I got an MTech in IIT Kanpur and an MS Research in IIT Madras. So I joined the MS Research, then PhD. That itself. Then I went to Indian Institute of Science, Super Computer Education Center. I worked for 2 years, around 2 years as a postdoc there. Then came back to Indian Institute of Mathematical Sciences. It's under the Department of Atomic Energy. Did another postdoc for 2 years. Then worked in an industry for 1.5 years to 2 years. This ATA Research, graphics processor company. In 2001, I joined back IIT Madras, 2001, July 1, as an assistant professor. In 2006, I became an associate professor. 2009, I became professor. 2010, I became chairman of the joint entrance examination, which once I failed. Okay, and then I was basically given a lot of administrative responsibilities. I became an associate dean of ICSR, the Industrial Consultancy Sponsor Research, a very big division of IIT Madras. And 2022, I became director. So this is my entire journey.
That's truly a very inspiring. Was spearheading the development of the country's first open indigenous microprocessor, Shakti, to make the country more Atmanirbhar in the crucial semiconductor sector. Why is it important that India develop its own indigenous microchip?
So the microprocessor is actually the brain of any electronic system. The program there runs in that, and that guides how the system works. And if that is not under our control, then essentially it's like having all systems, the brain, in the control of somebody else. So microprocessors become extremely important. And somewhere in 2012, that time Dr. Abdul Kalam is my Manasi Guru. I follow a lot of his principles. So he said that for him, vision like how our Honorable Prime Minister has fixed Bharat 2047, he had this vision 2020, and he said by 2020, make something that is no more abstract, but it should be concrete. Meaning, don't just tell stories, but do something concrete. That's what he meant. So we thought in 2012-13, what can we do for the country? Then we started this microprocessor program. And we did. And so sentimentally, 2020, I was for that work, I was awarded the Abdul Kalam Innovation Fellowship. So it was very coincident. I felt very happy and nostalgic about it. But as a country, we need microprocessors that should be indigenously developed. Otherwise, we'll be dependent on other nations, and it's not quite good for us to depend on other nations for such a most important component that is being part of our entire human life today. It touches human life. Microprocessors touches your life today. So that is the reason why we started that project. Around 2013, we started with a bunch of students. Around 2017, it got funded by Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. We named it Shakti, and then a lot of companies have come. The processor is becoming commercial. The RISC-V is one well-known standard that is developed, an open source standard. And we are now, as a country, we have now adopted RISC-V as our instruction set architecture, and we are doing process for the country. So looking back this 14 years of journey, I feel quite satisfied.
So, what were the challenges in this journey of developing Shakti, and how did you and your team overcome these challenges?
So when we want to actually make a semiconductor chip, one of the things that we were determined is we can do a semiconductor chip within India. Right? Doing the chip by manufacturing it somewhere outside is not, it's not that big challenge. We wanted to prove that the ecosystem exists within India. And first and foremost, we did not have qualified manpower to basically run the program. Right? We had one or two people who had some introduction to, semiconductor electronics. So we started, everything was from scratch. But I must be thankful to all my students who joined us intern. At two persons I want to mention here, Neil Gala and Arjun Menon. They are now currently running a company which is based on this microprocessor, who actually spent quite a significant amount of time. They joined me as a unpaid intern, and then they became a paid intern, paid project staff, did MS, then PhD, then stay with me as a postdoc. So it was 12 years they put their career with us. It's some very great belief that something will happen at someday. And they would have got lot of job offers they got. I know personally, they got jobs worth 50 L per annum, right? And they left all those things at the young age and pitched at us to make this process. That is one very important thing. And a very important challenge was to retain such type of people to run this project, because it's not 1 year project. And in an academic institution, we have 100% attrition in May and 100% fresh recruitment in June. And a long project cannot run like this. So we did form a team. Many of the members are still there working on same projects. And that was one challenge. And it took us a lot of time to basically convince the ecosystem, convince all the experts here, this RISC-V or this is a way to go and they need to fund us. It took a lot of time to get it. But as act of this convincing, we also learned what it means, what are the challenges. Because when you start writing proposal, you go through much deeper. And that gave us that confidence. But in 2017, when we got it, after that, one of the chips that was made was that the design was done in IIT Madras. The manufacturing was done in Chandigarh, semiconductor laboratory. So 180 nanometer, old technology, but very still relevant technology. And then we did the PCB design at our lab. PCB was manufactured in Bangalore. All assembly happened in Sriperumbudur. And we put it, software was written here and we put it. So everything happened within the India ecosystem. And it did happen somewhere in September of 2019, where this whole thing booted. And that was a great day for it. Something where we could show India that, there is an ecosystem available today that can make a complex microprocessor, boot it, and not just the microprocessor chip, but also the motherboard and also the software. So that was a very important lesson. And the lesson that it taught me as a teacher was that when the operating system actually booted, there are several millions of instructions that executes before you get a when you switch on your mobile phone, you get a logo, right? And before that, there's million instructions. That was a new thing for me. And from the way I thought, the way I was teaching some of the courses, I felt it's completely, useless to teach those things. 15 years I've been teaching that. But then I got a sudden, after doing this project, I found how irrelevant it is. So I actually started changing the way we approach systems engineering and our curriculum changes. So many things changed because of Shakti.
Yeah, to reevaluate an entire curriculum. Yes, that's a huge change. But can you share with us some of the success stories associated with Shakti and how it has impacted the semiconductor ecosystem of India?
Today we have at least 3, 4 companies who are working based on Shakti, and that is extremely important today. We need semiconductor companies here, not just design companies, but system companies which can make the entire system. So we have developed, if you say a mobile phone, right? There's some person who make the application processor. There's somebody who licenses the processor to them. So there's company which licenses the processor, and somebody makes a chip out of it. So so we have companies which make the core and license it, but then we have another company which has actually made the chip today, and it's basically selling. It's coming a commercial stage. So these are all very important success stories. Today, can you do it? This is digital design. The answer is yes. I've made a microprocessor. That's a bigger story, and lot more to do. Of course, there's a very major big project that we are going to take. Whether can I make this into a server chip, whatever you have done, or things that will go on small devices. But you do look at large servers, your mail server, etc. Can we have some things for the server chip? So these are some of the other challenges that we have in the card, and we are trying to push.
I wanted to ask that worldwide there are rising fears of AI disrupting jobs, threatening careers, and parents are worried about its impact on their children's education. So, what are your thoughts on the role of AI in education and how can we in India leverage it for our needs and for improving our education system?
Very good question. So AI in education. We'll not talk about education of AI. That's happening. AI in education is very, very important today. See, any technology that we see, there's a good and bad. Okay. And it's very important to take all the good and eliminate all the bad. And this elimination of the bad comes from two good habits, good type of people who develop those systems, and then regulations. So three things play an important role. Like if I don't want to use the bad thing of a technology, even if somebody creates some technology that can be used for bad thing, if I don't want to shoot, right? That's one part. If somebody doesn't make a gun that will kill people, then that is the second part. The third part is, of course, there will be regulations, law that in govern this. So three parts actually make good to ensure that technology is properly used. And I think as a country, we need to develop that for any technology. Coming back to AI, so AI can help a student, can be a personal co-pilot to the student. Suppose you are interviewing somebody, you just have 4 minutes and your director says, go and interview, right? It can give you a lot of pointers of how to ask. So this is very important. So summarization and to can be a co-pilot. To not interview the person, but it can give you points of what nice questions. Like an assistant. Not like an assistant. It is an assistant. Right? Yes. We call it co-pilot. Co-pilot. So that the AI can be a co-pilot for every student. AI can also be a co-pilot for the parent of that student. In the sense, it can tell your son is good, your daughter is good on this. Like we go and shape the career. Many of the father and mother today say when the moment the baby is probably conceived or even delivered, they say you should become engineer, doctor. We don't know what the kid wants. Kid would like to become Ravi Shankar, right? We have this great photo here. So that is also something which I can do. I can be a co-pilot. Look at Tare Zameen Par. Till the fifth standard, the kid was not known to be autistic, and then turmoil the kid undergoes. But after that, when they recognize it, then the kid has a great future. I think AI will help the parent identify such type of learning disabilities, etc., to actually shape the career of the student. And then, of course, to the teacher. Today, we have 100, 200 in the class. Now, to give personal attention, AI can be a very good prompter to the teacher saying, this guy is weak in this thing, go and teach this. So, that type of attention can be. And for policy holders also, like government ministry or a district administration, what should I do to improve education there? AI can give a lot of feedback. So AI in education can be a game changer. And specifically with respect to the job aspect, when 1980, early 80s, when computerization was included in the banking sector, there was strike at SBI. Right? They said computers will take off the job. Today, can you run the bank without computers? No. But how many jobs have been created? So, people who don't want to learn AI may suffer. People who can upskill themselves and learn AI and use AI will get much more interesting jobs. So AI will be a job creator, but it demands that the people upskill themselves to learn a bit of AI. Like how people learned a bit of computer and they are able to manage. Similarly, they can do this. So this is my answer.
All right. So coming back to AI and microprocessors, semiconductors, I wanted to talk more about the nature of the India AI Impact Summit New Delhi. What role has the summit played at positioning India in the global AI landscape?
India is the probably the only country that can dictate what AI can lead to for two reasons. One, we have to scale. We are large data producers. Everywhere, anything that we do, every time we move, we produce data. Where we are moving traffic data, lead data, finance data. We have the largest transaction happening on the UPI today. So we have a lot of data. Second thing is, India will be the largest consumer of AIs because we have already 1 billion people who are going to use smartphone. At the moment you start using smartphone, you are already into the AI. So India can never be neglected or ignored, and that's how AI Impact Summit has become quite important today. And everybody has recognized this, realized this, both us, other side of the world. So that is first. So India on the AI global map? Yes, India is on the map already. And we have a lot of talent. We have a lot of mathematics is needed for AI. Of course, you need hardware and other things, but basic fundamental probability statistics, right? I think plus two max exam. So all these people should study max now. If you want to become AI expert, to the viewers, if you are studying 10th standard or 12th standard, 9th standard, 10th standard, do your probability and statistics there. So we have the talent. We have very good talent in that sphere. I'm sure we will be developing great AI algorithms that will run the AI system. And so that way, to support the AI ecosystem, I think we have quite a bit of talent in the country. So the ecosystem is yes, we are the largest generators of data, which forms the basics for AI. We are also the largest consumer of AI application. So India is already in the
Absolutely, sir. Now, talking about talent, IIT Madras has consistently ranked as the #1 engineering institution in the NIRF rankings since 2015 for 10 consecutive years. You became the director in 2022. What are the most challenging aspects of leading one of India's top educational institutes? And in those moments, what is it that helps you, guides you with those challenges?
There is a very interesting saying in Ramayana. Sarvada Sukadam Mitram Dushkaram Paripaganam. It is very easy to make friendship, but very difficult to maintain. Similarly, is right. As such, it's very easy to go to the top, but very difficult to maintain the top. So what we have done right is IIT Madras as an entity. What is so heartening, why I am so thankful to God, why I got this Padma Shri, is for this reason. As an institute, our staff, our faculty, our students, our alumni, our industry collaborators, our funding agencies, ministry, all of us have worked very correctly. We do have some certain, we can't even say difference of opinion, different points of view, but we all decide to converse and come to some common point and move forward. I think that cohesive work, cohesive focused work is something that has kept IIT Madras on the top. And so both my predecessor and predecessor's predecessor both had the fortune of leading the institute for over a decade, 10 plus years. And both have set the whole thing so smooth that the transition was very smooth. And I did not have any great challenges at this point to basically handle with it. But One of the things that came up after 2022 was this post-COVID era. We are also now starting to look at implementation of the national education policy, which was having a lot of very important posts. All those things we have taken up. We now moved from IITM for the JE Advanced and the Gate Pass students to IITM for all. We have a largest online program. We have made at least 25,000 children from rural background come and visit IIT Madras every year. So we opened Vidya Shakti, a rural interaction center platform. We have the world's largest online degree, which caters to more than 50,000 students. We file one patent a day, with more than a patent a day. And we have 100 plus startups. So lot things have come up in this last 4 5 years. And we also are the first IIT to open an international campus at Zanzibar in Africa, and so many things, so many exciting things.
That's amazing. And obviously, like all of those things make like cements IIT Madras's position at the top. Coming to my next question, I want to ask that India has a significant rural population. What are the challenges for students from rural areas in accessing quality education, especially higher education in STEM fields?
So good teachers going to rural India and teaching, I think, is becoming very difficult because good teachers have very good jobs at our urban places. The entire spine of India, we could say, is in rural India. If there are no villages, there's no India. Right? So it's there. And then you have a lot of talent there. We are the youngest population in the age group of 15 to 35. And the majority of this population is in rural India. So what we have done is basically we have opened a Vidya Shakti. Keeping this in mind, the national education policy also has recommended, had put a milestone that the gross enrollment ratio, the number of kids who pass +2 and go to higher education, today stands at 29%, should become 50% today, right? And that's very, very important, right? 50% of the children who pass +2 must go to a higher education. So what we have done is, from IIT Madras, we have started with the Vidya Shakti project, which essentially has one internet connected TV. And in the rural village, we go and install it. And in the evening between 5 to 8, there are classes that are taken in the mother tongue. It is not a parallel school, it's an augmentation to the school. And we started with 5 centers in 2022. Today we have 7,100 plus centers. And we would like to take it to 100,000 centers. And that would be the way by which we can give equitable, affordable, accessible, quality education for all. Swami Vivekananda told 100 years before that if the poor cannot afford education, education is reached the poor. That's what we are trying to do. And we are trying to use AI. So one of the important aspect of our Center of Excellence for AI in Education, that is given by the Ministry of Education, and IIT Madras has given the responsibility. On 12th and 13th, our Honorable Minister Pradhaji actually opened up Podhan.ai, which is a very important Section 8 not-for-profit company hosted by IIT Madras purpose. And what we are basically doing that is see how AI can be used to reach this quality education to the core of the course.
Absolutely. What does this award Padma Shri mean to you? And more importantly, what does success mean to you?
Success means do more work. That is my way. Because there's a long way to go. If Viksit Bharat 2047, it's a very, very important milestone. And we have to prepare our youth, prepare our institutions, so that we are very much ready to take the challenges at that point. And we must reach a technology superpower. I consider this Padmasri at the big motivation for me to work more and more.
All right. Your job comes with a lot of responsibilities and challenges. How do you unwind and relax after a hard day of work?
Meeting students and teaching are the two ways by which I unwind. And of course, I spend some time with the family. Many times I miss that because work is much more very very, very taxing some days. But then meeting the students and going to the hostel, spending time with these young kids, I think that's the way I unwind.
As a violinist and a musician, what is your greatest achievement that gives you the most inner satisfaction?
As a violinist, I did understand that, performing on stage essentially means 9 to 10 parameters you should be very careful about. And what playing on the stage or performing on the stage teaches you is that you become a team player, you have attention to details, and you have to practice well. It is this performing art is nothing like you recite an abaswara, right? A wrong note. You can't say sorry, that entire mood is gone. So you have attention to details, team play, and also rigorous practice comes in. And that is what an engineer also is. So keeping this in mind, for the first time in the history of any IIT, IIT Madras introduced fine arts and cultural excellence admission. And for all the AAR viewers and listeners here, I have this good news that if you are graded by AAR as P grade, that's the first grade you get, or you win this AAR competition, then you have a special seat reserved for you. Of course, you write JEE Adva, but then there is a seat reserved for you in IIT Madras as of today. They are trying to push it to other IITs. So, in the AAR studio, I just wanted to mention this.
So it's a great thing for us. So, do you watch cricket? And because I'm asking, and the game was an important part of your life during your growing up years.
Yes, I do watch cricket and I do have that one small ticker that Likamuchi tell for the colored sport.
All right, Dr. Kamakoti, thank you for joining us at the Akashvani podcast. It was a pleasure speaking to you.
Thank you, Meghna, and wishing you all the best.